Come on. Come here, what you doing? Sit down. That's a good thing. Hello guys. Hey, today I want to talk about a little bit about what causes bad arrow flight. And a friend of mine was tuning on his bow and tuning some new arrows, and he had some questions he was asking me. And I had been, and some other people had as well. And trust me, I've had any kind of problem you can have shooting a bow. So hope that thing is working good. So I'll tell you some of the things that cause me issues, and they may be causing you issues. Number one, that's my buddy he had some new arrows that he was trying to decide what spine to get. I guess he was bare shaft tuning. The donkey sounding off over there, morning noise. So I've said this before, and I stand by that. I don't think that 90% of the people shooting a trad bow don't have good enough form to consistently bare shaft tune an arrow so that what they come up with today will work tomorrow, because they've done something different. And so I mean, I bare shaft my arrows, but I don't just sit there and lose sleep over them. I get them shooting pretty good and I'm done with it, and put feathers on them and go hunting. But some things that, and I've been through this before. I've had this jucker shooting like a bullet, then you come out the next day and it shoots tail left or tail right, or it shoots completely stupid. I mean bad, and you say, man, it was shooting like a bullet yesterday. Then you start looking at your bow. Maybe this is different or that's different. It's not the bow. And what it is, we are inconsistent in our form. There's a lot of things, and I'll just start naming them off. Number one, one thing, like a lot of guys will bare shaft their bow with it straight up and down like that, but because they think they need to be able to read the tune like that. But if you shoot with your bow canted, bare shaft your bow like that. Just instead of it's a weak shaft, it's going to kick a little bit like that instead of straight across, right? If that's how you shoot, that's how you bare shaft. And but some guys, they'll bare shaft straight up, and then when they shoot, they torque the string. And if you're shooting a lower poundage bow, it will magnify. It'll be twice as bad. When they drawing back, like normally they're both straight up and down, they come straight back and their hand is straight up and down. But then when they cant the bow, they don't cant their hand or roll their head with it. They still have their head kind of straight and cant the bow. And what you're doing is you're twisting the string. You're torquing the string like that. Smaller than that. And it causes bad arrow flight. And there again, if it's a low poundage bow, then it'll be worse. And if you're shooting a recurve, it'll be worse, because the limbs, this bow here, you're not going to make the limbs do that. But a recurve, you can make the limbs do this by torquing the string. So that's one thing that could cause you bad arrow flight. Another, of course, is inconsistent draw. When you're up there and you're being all fine and proper, trying to bare shaft, and you're really paying attention to your form, and then maybe your short draw, stuff like that, that'll cause a change in it. Grip. If you change your grip pressure, like if you gripping up high, if you throat this grip like this, one shot, and then just a little change in pressure could not only cause you some porpoise, but it can cause, in my experience, it causes the arrow to kick tail left. And most everything that I've done that caused me bad arrow flight made it look like the arrow was weak. Another thing, when you start out tuning your bow, I always have my knock point. I start at 5/8 above center, and I actually shoot it like that most of the time. But because if you start with your knock point a little bit low, it may not cause porpoise, but it'll sometimes cause the arrow to shoot left. And everything is opposite if you're left-handed. I'm going from right hand. So if I say kick left, if you're left-handed, it'll be right. And so that's one thing. And as you shoot inconsistent, like when you shoot, and I've made bad shots before, I would shoot to the right sometimes, and it wouldn't be the bow. When I shoot, I would not have my shoulder in alignment, pushing straight at the target. I would be pushing like this. maybe I'm standing more square and I push. When I shoot, the bow does like this. The bow would do that. So that causes you bad arrow flight as well. If you hit a good solid anchor and you relax a little bit and you shoot, this is exaggerated, but you shoot and everything goes forward, that causes bad arrow flight. The perfect, let me grab an arrow right here. I have been really working on my form, so I'm starting to feel really good about deer season. But one thing I do, I change my anchor. I come up, and this is very important. Like if you hit full draw with your bow arm, the last part of your draw needs to come straight back. Notice my elbow comes straight around. Last part of your draw needs to come straight back. That pulls a straight line through the bow. If you pulling downward or upward, or it's not straight back, you're pulling with your hand instead of straight back, it causes bad arrow flight. Inconsistent form. You can I'm gonna shoot downward some, so I'll probably draw that way, but you come straight back the last little bit, and there you go. Let's shoot another one. My hat got in the way. Every shot I shoot is like there's a deer standing there. I practice for deer hunting. I come straight back that last little bit. That's very important. And you can tell it. If you don't, you pretend somebody's pushing against your elbow. You draw back with that tension like that. And I don't know if you noticed, I changed my anchor. I used to anchor here, but I started a cheekbone anchor. I can feel it. I hope you don't bump the camera. Come on over here, out of the way. Smiley. Everybody needs a Daisy May. Makes you smile. But I mean, there's a lot of little things you do that'll keep you from having a good bear shaft arrow. A lot of them. And that's why I don't worry about it. I think especially a beginning bow hunter, stick bowman, should, and for the record, a bow not cut to center like this will magnify those mistakes as well. And a bow that's cut to center is more forgiving. I prefer to shoot these. This is what I shoot. And I tune my arrows and get them shooting good. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but them 5.5-inch feathers I shoot right there, that's for a reason. Because I spend my time walking in the woods, shooting my bow and hunting, and not sitting out there almost losing my mind because my arrows don't fly perfect without feathers on them. In short, what I'm trying to tell you is, don't lose sleep over it. Get you some arrows bare shafted, and even sometimes I don't even bare shaft some arrows. If I get a dozen arrows or build some arrows, I got feathers on them. I go out there shooting them, and if they hit where I'm looking, they not bucking in the wind. I don't care if they fly good bare shaft or not. It don't even matter. They're flying like bullets the way I have them, and I leave them like that. Just bare shafting the arrow is good for getting you in a spine range that you need. And so we really put too much emphasis on that. We've made this way more complicated than it really has to be, and it takes enjoyment out of it. I simply believe that you get that joker shooting pretty good, put some feathers on it, work on your form. If you've watched my videos, you can tell I have been fighting target panic, and you saw both of those shots. And I shot a couple before I started the video, and I had the camera on, so I mean, I'll probably put them on there. But I'm hitting anchor now, and I don't hold long, but I don't care. I want to hit good solid anchor, and I want my form to be consistent, because if your form is consistent and your aiming method, whatever that is consistent, you're going to hit what you're shooting at. Once you practice and started making good shots, you grow on that. But if your form is inconsistent, you can't build on nothing, because you have no basic foundation to build on. So you must really get good form. That's the most important. Shooting close shots, build your confidence, and be consistent. But then when you're shooting and all of a sudden your arrow does something stupid, as you go through this, you'll learn the shot that you made that was bad. You'll know what you did wrong, and you know what you got to work on to fix it. But there's a lot of things, like I said, especially guys shooting lower poundage, this stuff sometimes will magnify, because a higher poundage bow snatches the string out of your hand, and it kind of keeps you from making so many mistakes. Your release don't have to be as perfect because it takes it away from you. And I know some guys, I've heard them say that they can't shoot low poundage bows simply for that, and I get it. But you draw in the bow consistent anchor, and there again I started using that cheekbone because it is super consistent. You can draw the bow back to the corner of your mouth. I've shot that forever, and you can twist this joker all kind of ways. Another thing is your head position. I just thought about when I pulled that. When you draw the bow back, my head locks in position before my bow arm comes up. I lock my head in position, I come back, and then shoot. You can't shoot with your head up here, turn around like that. Some guys, you shoot, then you hit your nose one time. It's because you either overdrew your bow or you twisted your head around. That's going to cause inconsistent flight. If you're trying to do some paper tuning with all that, it's going to mess you up. So stop cutting your wrist over this bare shafting stuff. Get you some arrows that fly good with feathers and shoot them. Work on your form, and get that arrow hitting where you're looking, and that's all you need to do. A lot of people, I was talking to another buddy yesterday, he was shooting some arrows, but arrows flying great, he said. They shot like bullets, but he was shooting to the right a little bit. He's been used to shooting a bow like this, and he's got one cut to center now. And he was talking about cutting his arrows off and doing it. I said, man, why don't you just put a toothpick behind your wrist? Bait your arrow over a little bit, and it'll hit where you're looking. And I've done that for a long time. And rather than adjusting your arrows and all that way, if it's something that you're doing, like if you're bear shafting, you go out there and shoot a few arrows, and things are not, the arrows showing weak, you say, well, I got to cut some of it off. Don't do that. Do it for a couple days. Now, if it's showing drastic weak, then maybe you need to trim it back. But if it's inconsistent, don't cut no arrows off. Bait your rest a little bit, bait your rest out a little bit, or just keep shooting and work on your form. There's something you're doing. All these few things I told you about, overdrawing, torquing the string, inconsistent grip. Sometimes you're fully extended, sometimes you're not. All those little things matter. But the biggest thing I hope you take away from this video is stop sweating all that crap. Get your arrows with feathers shooting good, and go shoot and enjoy your bow. Work on your accuracy, and don't let all that super tuning discourage you. So this is simple, really it is. Before the internet, everybody, my buddy John, he never had a computer, and he shot 45 pounds with 2020 aluminums, with most of the time with 145 or either 190 grain point. He drew 28 inches, and I don't remember what his arrow length was, but I mean, none of that stuff even figures out where it should match up. But the joker killed way more animals than most anybody I ever heard of. And his arrows flew good. He put big feathers on. And so I'm not saying to hide all your tuning mistakes with big feathers, but I am saying tune it good as you can get it, and don't sweat it no more. Put some feathers on there and shoot. As your shooting improves, you beginners, and your form is getting more and more consistent, then you know, the next dozen arrows you buy, if you want to have one with a bare shaft and try to get it perfect, do that. And one other thing I'm going to show you on some arrows right quick. Cover this a little more in another video, but I'm shooting wood arrows, as you can tell here. And you notice they're cut the same here. Well, I got it uneven. Basically the same length. And they weigh identical. This arrow here is 50-55 spine. This arrow here is 55-60 spine. And they shoot like bullets. You say, how is that? But they weigh the same. So what I've done here, I'm playing with this front FOC because I have found out that a heavier point weight contributes to much better arrow flight. And argue with me if you want to, but I've been doing this test here. And so what I did, I got some arrows that are, the mass weight of the arrow, the raw shaft is lighter, much lighter. And so the spine is heavier. So I cut them the same length because I don't want to be playing games with my mind's eye and my sight picture, right? And so I got a 300 grains up front here. I got a woody weight, and I got a 200 grain point, or blunt, whatever you call them, ace hex head. And then on this one, I just got a 200 grain. They both shoot really good, but I do notice that this one is much more consistent as far as when I do something, I come out. My first shot of the day has been spot on, like the last, since I changed my anchor action. Really focused and working on that. But this little bit of point weight, it really makes up, especially, I bet it rained out here like every day up until this week. It's rained every day, and I would shoot in the grass out there and my arrows would be laid down flat. This arrow here shoots much more controlled, and this one wouldn't shoot crazy, but you could see a little wind in it there with them wet feathers. This one shot like a bullet with this extra point weight. So that's I guess I'm bringing this up to show you that maybe the point weight helps your tuning as well. But you guys shooting, even your carbon arrows, you could do the same thing. But anyway, just a thought on point weight there. But a lot of things, the bare shaft tuning, I think is like, there's way too much emphasis put on that. If you're like an Olympic archer or you're a 3D world champion, that sort of stuff I'm sure helps a lot. But if you're like just the 90% of us guys shooting these stick bows, you just want to see that ball of yellow feathers just go in a ball and none of this. It don't take all that. And when it don't do that, it's something you did, probably not the tuning of the bow. So work on your form. Try, if all these things I mentioned, if you got arrows that kick a little bit, you'll learn what you did wrong and work on those different things. Pay attention, see if you're torquing the string. Pay attention if you're drawing, say if you're drawing straight back and your elbow's down. You want that the elbow to be the line of tension. You want your wrist relaxed. You can't shoot clawed up. I know I got some buddies that shoot completely almost closing their hand, and they're excellent shots. But what it does, their wrist and all, everything else is relaxed because they put all that in their fingers, and it works for them. And so don't try to mimic what somebody else is doing, because that don't work for me. But I do shoot a pretty tight grip. Another thing, if your hand, like say I've closed on a string, it's a straight line. If you're curling that around like this, then that's causing you problems with your arrow flight as well, because you won't do it consistent. As you begin to strengthen up after you shot a few arrows, you may be straight, but to begin with, you're clawing it maybe because your first shots are weaker. Just different things like that. Keep in mind, but don't cut your wrist over the bare shaft tuning. Enjoy your shooting, work on your form, and go hunting. It's all good. I appreciate y'all watching my videos. Y'all, the way to build the best form is through practice. And the way to build the best walk with God is through practice, by simply praying, reading that Bible, getting in that Bible, setting aside some time each day for Bible time. I know a lot of guys, or some guys, that go to the gym from this time to this time, they're going to be at the gym no matter what. You got to set some time apart for the Bible reading, and you should be praying and communing with Jesus all day long, and makes us better. And I posted something on Facebook a while back. A preacher had put out there, and try this out. He says when he wakes up in the morning, the first thought that enters his head, it might be bacon and eggs, might be I got to go to work, I need to get a shower. He said, don't have any of that. Let it be a thanking God. Let God be the first thought that pops in your head. And if something else pops there, direct it to God, being thankful for the breath you breathe in that morning and getting out of bed, and your day will be better. And it keeps the devil beat back right from the get-go. So y'all keep the good Lord first. See you next time.